Hey everybody. I got thinking about sharing my story prior to 2014. So this is before Vintage Goalie. What got me into goaltending, what got me into the business of doing Vintage Goalie, kind of how it all started. So I want to take you back to 1999. So I graduated in 99 from a program at Sheridan College called Technical and Scientific Illustration. I was basically trained to draw and design three-dimensionally. This is all done by hand, so this is prior to a lot of the three-dimensional programs that are available today. So engine parts, mechanical drawings, how things function. Also, on the scientific end, I was drawing, cutaways of human organs for science textbooks. So I came out of that program to illustrate visually how something functions, how something operates, how something works. In addition to that was graphic design. So I was taught, topography, magazine layouts, that sort of thing. That was by use of Photoshop. So Photoshop was in its infancy back then. When I moved here in 99, I had a job fresh out of school. It was a great job. I was drawing these mechanical drawings for a company, doing instructional manuals. And I was there for 6 years, and unfortunately myself and a number of others were let go. There was a big shift in the industry, in this particular industry I was in, so I was let go. I was out of work, and my wife and I were newly married. We had a home, so I have mortgage payments to make, and I was fortunate, very fortunate. My wife's uncle came along and offered me a job in farm machinery. He owned a company where he was selling farm machinery. I know nothing about farms, and I know nothing about sales, so this was very new for me, very much out of my comfort zone, but I had mortgage payments to make and to support a family, so I did it. I jumped in, and I learned a lot in those 2 years. It's true how adversity stretches you and grows you, so I did that for 2 years. And then my wife said to me one day, Matt, maybe it's time for you to get back into what you love to do, to draw and design and to create, which was really great of her. At that time, I really needed to hear that because I had spent all that time and all that money in this course that I was in. So I go on the internet one night, and I don't know if you remember the website called Monster. It was a website where you'd go in and populate your filters and look for a job. And so I came across a number of positions that were based on graphic design, illustration, that sort of thing. Sent my resumes out everywhere, and I didn't hear back for a number of weeks from anyone. But then one night I found this job posting that just blew me away. It was called a goalie developer for a company called Mission iTech Hockey. In Kirkland, Quebec, in the West Island of Quebec. And I was floored, and I remember reading the post just like yesterday. And they had just like all the stuff that every goalie would love. You get to develop and design goalie equipment. You needed to be able to draw technically. You had to draw things in a two-dimensional and a three-dimensional way. And the purpose of the drawings was for the supplier to be able to build the goalie equipment based on your drawings. So I was like, I can do that. I can do that. And it was so thrilling and very exciting. And, I remember there was even one of the requirements was you had to be a goalie. Well, at that time, my wife and I didn't have kids, and we were just newly married, and I was playing goalie probably 3 nights a week, 2-3 nights a week at least. And so I fit that criteria quite well. And anyway, so I printed it off. I hadn't actually applied in that moment. I actually printed off the job post, and I went downstairs and I showed my wife. I said, check this out. I said, this would be a dream job. Whoever gets this job is the luckiest person around. And I didn't believe that I would get it. Like, I applied, I ended up applying, but I just never believed that that would be for me. I thought it was sort of, that's for somebody else to get that kind of a dream job, someone more fortunate than me. And so anyway, I applied, and I remember I was working for my uncle, my wife's uncle. I was at a trade show, a farming trade show, and I'm driving home and my phone rings. I had a flip phone back then. The phone rings, flip the phone, and it's Mission High Tech Hockey saying, "Matt, we'd like to have you in for a job interview." Well, I'll tell you, it was like the greatest day. I hadn't even got the job yet, but it was just so cool to get a phone call, especially from a hockey company, a company that I respected. I mean, I wore at the time a lot of iTech. I still wear some iTech today. And so I was thrilled. So this brings us to 2007. But we're going to stop there. I'd like to keep these videos short, as mentioned, and I'll tell you the rest very soon. Thanks for listening.